Good evening. So, we welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much. I'm Alfonso and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome you to today's editions of All Things Considered. Special editions as a result of the elections in Liberia, by elections in Nima County, and the decisions of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. Let's go. Okay, let's get the ball rolling. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening. I'm Alfonso and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe here in the USA, Liberia, and in parts of the world. Thank you for joining us here this evening in this special editions of All Things Considered. We will be talking to right here to the outcome of the final court of the land, the Supreme Court of Liberia, the ongoing elections in Nima County, Capitol Building, the Temple of Justice, and the executive mansions on the other end. We will be having a conversation here. And of course, our team of analysts, contributors standing by. We're going to dissect the political happenings in Liberia, the consequences, who is for the rule of law and who is not. We're going to put it into perspective. And of course, your opinions and view does matter in the political conversations of Liberia. Today, you want to gain your redemption because the Liberal Progressive and his ally, they are not in charge. So you will be at liberty to speak your minds about your country. Your voices will not be left behind. And that's the core value of this network. This building you see behind me is a troubled child in the country now. But we heard clearly, crystal clear, no Latin, no Hebrew, no any other word. The outcome of the Supreme Court today, what they said George Honor was very vehement. Let's see who respects the rule of law, who will disregard the rule of law, and the consequences all involved. You're going to hear from these folks as well. And of course, all eyes still and Nima County, the consequential by election that could be a pivotal point for the 2029 presidential elections as a result of the demise of Senator Prince Yomi Johnson. He was a powerful guy. It's a kingmaker due to, we know Prince Johnson have decided numerous elections of late before his demise. And that seat has been heavily contested from all what we're hearing. Our guys all out there seems to be in favor of the left hand, the guy who led the conspiracy of removing the speaker. Late prior to the voting of Nima County, the main challenger and former superintendent in her fourth time, what could be the outcome of her political career, made an urgent appeal to Nimayans ahead of the closures of the election before they took their vote. Or what that appeal, did it resonate, or what will be the outcome of that? I want to bring in my analyst, Jerry Barkons, is a security analyst of the Liberia Public Radio right here in the Ocean State of Rhode Island, and support President Joseph Newman Boykai. Moses Singby and not all to Washington, based in the liberal home state of Delaware, also support Joseph Newman Boycott. Apparently, this network is heavily infested with the Washingtons and the UPs, but we're here to keep them in check. We will not cut them off. They will come here, they will expose themselves. I know being politically correct, we're going to get their words. And I hope the liberal will show face here. They are godfathers, the liberal progressive base in Saxton, Sacramento. But let me bring in right here in my own state of Rhode Island, to work with him in proximity, Jerry Barkon is a strong supporter of President Joseph Newman Boyka. He helped to nurture CDC George Weah and left him at the bank of the river, and now he has gone to Joseph Boyka. Let's bring in Moses Sengbe, is the security analyst of the Liberia Public Radio as well, based in Delaware, next to Joe Biden. They all sharing fans. I don't know who fans is taller than his friend, but next close to Joe Biden. When you want to see Biden, just get in touch with Moses, of course. And we are still in the fundraising process. 34 things going to be going on simultaneously here. That's the cash as well. We have we got a new home in Liberia. We are proud of what we're doing. They're going to be opening officially, and this is what we are doing. That's the building there, right? FDA mini road, literally, that you can get there. And the fundraising aspect is still ongoing. If you are joining us for the first time, we say good evening, so we say welcome. Gentlemen, good evening to welcome beautiful Wednesday evening. Who is happy? Who is not happy?
Nobody happy.
I'm happy. Are you not happy? Okay. So there are two major things usually Wednesdays, all things considered here, but I'm going to be very much selective here this evening because a lot is unfolding, and I really want to get you guys honest opinion on that. One is on the other end in Nima and in the nation heartbeat of Morovia. I'm not sure whether it's a coincidence or somebody put everything together so that they can get our mind crowded, be confused, diffused, and all of that, and know which way to. This is how you guys, the politicians, you people who advise this leader, this is why you do 2 or 4 things and they will get confused. They don't know where to start, but I can tell you, I know exactly where to start. But let's start it from Nima. Nima was the talking point, and then you brought out to Morovia to Temple of Justice, the Supreme Court. There was the honest appeal by the former superintendent and main challenger. We don't know whether that's going to resonate. Well, the godfather is here. Let me just bring him in. He doesn't look happy tonight. He admitted behind the scene. He doesn't know what else to say. And we have no recording. So any attempt to denounce that, unless he say he's going to say a liquor talk, and then he's going to be looked at. Why would this old man be saying he says something and he says a liquor talk? Good evening, gentlemen. Let's welcome. But let's go to Nima County when the former superintendent was making her last time call or robot call, whatever appeal to the voters. But the voter seems not to something. It seems to be there was some sort of disruption way down the line. We all know what happened between Peter Gonglowe and that of Prince Johnson. Let's listen to this and we'll come right back to you.
Sure, whatever you have, whatever schedule it is, let that be secondary to your voting. Turn to the polls, vote on Tuesday, and above all, when you vote, especially to the young men, to our motorcyclists who are so enthusiastic about our leadership, protect the vote. We want you to remain at the voting center even after you vote, to man your vote. And let me send this message as well. We've gotten a lot of intels. There's going to be a dark, unmarked vehicle, an SUV, a Jeep. When you see that, make sure you are watching those unmarked cars, those black cars. They are not to any good. We've heard of marked ballots that they're trying to use to ballot stuff this election. Please remain your own security in this election. Watch your ballot, be vigilant, report any phishing movement by people who you don't know, any strange movement in your communities, report them. And again, as we close this campaign, thank you, Nimba. You've made me proud. You've made yourselves proud. This senatorial election that we have won already, and it's just left to be validated by your voting on Tuesday. This senatorial seat is your seat. It is your position. It is meant for your children to address their future needs because leadership is about the future. Thank you so much. Go out and vote. Victory to all of us. Thank you and good night.
You make me proud, Nima. We don't know yet, but that was the last minute appeal robocall by the former superintendent, who is the main challenger. We don't know how that's going to resonate. Hopefully, we can get in our Africa Bureau chief, who is also a Lions legend, good, great journalist, and hopefully to put it into context where we get in. But our guy who based in Nima County was all over reaching out. So the numbers coming out seems not to be good. Guys, let me just bring you in here. Uh, the political journey of Ide Gonglo, where you remembered that was crushed by Prince Johnson. We knew how it was a rough air when Prince Johnson defined her. And that's the worst thing for you, for it to happen, for you to be defined by people. You remember when she was superintendent? And then she said she was buying lipos coming from Ivory Coast and all of that. I'm wondering whether there's no trees in Liberia in Nima County. She did not effectively exonerate herself, and there are a lot of things. I hope to get a take of Mike Down. Okay, let's see here. Mike Down is calling. I hope I will get him. Let's just see here. Okay, Mike, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening and good morning from our end, Mr. So and Tim. How are you?
Great. Is it audible to you guys, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mike, good to have you here. Thank you for all of the work that you are doing. And you are perfectly suited to get a take on a few things the little time we're gonna have. We know it's extremely late in Liberia. But let me just take you in your own county of Nima County. That elections is very consequential, is very crucial. Ida Gongo, where the former superintendent, what are you gathering? What is the latest coming in there? Even though her last minute to turn the pew, we don't know what's going to be the outcome. The official result going to be coming from Nike here. But from all indication, the number doesn't look good for her. What is the contradiction?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. So and the team. And today there were two updates that were given by the National Elections Commission and the lower member or upper member is still Tali Center in Sanikole. So the first one put Edith Google were in a lead at the time. Lima County has 436 polling places. So they initially counted about 12 or 94 of those polling places, accounting for 12.77. And then later on during the day in Liberia, there was another update that came out extending the number to about 314 polling places, which were counted today. And then in that counted numbers, it either dropped a little bit, covered extended a little bit to about 44.50%, 44.05%, and that of EDA to 43.80%. So, so far, when you look at it, Koga is in the lead with 28 votes, and it's still very close to say that somebody is winning or somebody will definitely win. Because you have about 422 polling places, many. So maybe from now to the coming days, we'll exactly know the winner of that election. Even though there have been a series of private messages coming on social media from the both sides, both of them have been claiming victory actually. So, but the National Elections Commission is the only authority called to announce.
And we will be very careful here as well, not to just entertain and call and just come to a conclusion. Like you Well, let me ask you here. If you were to talk to either people and talk to like Koga people, where are they keeping eyes? Where these initial votes are coming from? Is there any of them that watching specific places to say, okay, when we get numbers from this end, we will be in a comfortable range. So where these numbers are coming from, and which corridor?
Well, when we spoke today to some supporters of Koga, they are saying that they are in the lead, they are taken in the lead, and evenly in 5 counties, while there is in the lead in 4 counties. 4 districts rather. There are about 9 districts in Nema. So again, one cannot definitely claim exact number that they have won with, because you have about 736 polling places. So they have total 314. So except the number can come out maybe if we have gone like 80 to 95%, then you can predict to say yes, this person is stopping this country actually. At this time, the tallying is still continuing. There has not and come up with district. So it's still been tallied. Votes are still being counted and tallied. We cannot technically assign the total yet, even though they still have the raw data. They haven't come up with it to say, oh yes, this normal district, this person won it, but from the 2 sides, when we spoke to them, they are from Nakoba is in the lead with 5 counties, with 5 districts, and ED team is Chemayato spoke to them to the local media. He is claiming a lead in 4 of the 9 districts in Lima. So that is how it's been. Some of the results in either district, either did not win or district aspect, the result that have been coming so far.
So hold on one second, and that's what I'm going. So are you saying it is potentially becoming like an eye god to lose our own constituent? If that happens, then Mike, what does that suggest?
Well, one of the prominent son of that district, Jaron Mesona, who is a former representative, he was in this particular race. So apparently, the people favor him over Edith because he and Edith from the same time, Blaze or PA. In Blaze or PA, Edith did not win that. Edith obtained 215, while Tima was in 237 votes. In the Takata district so far, Mark Limo is coming a little bit higher there, followed by Koga. So it's still too far to definitely predict who is going to win uprightly. But the two leading candidates now they are Koga and that of Eve.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. If we're to make an educated guess, if she is now winning her district, so let me ask you, in the interest of fairness, is there any numbers coming from Samuel Koga's stronghold or within his district or region? Any numbers from that so far you know well?
Definitely, Delegate District 3 and 4 is pulling some significant numbers from Koga. While in District 1 is the former district of the current vice president is pulling some significant numbers for either side. District 1 is in a Kanta belt, is pulling some significant numbers for either. He registered around that belt in the town called Greenwood, West Wiltshire. So
So
that is
So, so possibly, if what were to talk to the strategies and advisors to you, where are they shifting now? Which district, which region are they keeping close eyes on for potential numbers that could sort of like narrow the the points or the number? Where are they banking on now?
District 1 and 9 and 7, we are getting some numbers there. We are getting some numbers there. And another plus the numbers we getting across other districts. So District 1, we are getting some significant votes there. For
So
if Wakuba is taking significant votes in the lower Nimba, the upper Nimba bill, it has some getting some number in
lower.
District 1 that is the form part of upper Nimba and also portion of lower Nimba should get some votes. While Koga is in the lead, especially for the upper Nimba votes.
Okay, before we shift gear to what is happening in the nation heartbeat. If you were to narrow down where will your focus be directed in terms of if I see this number coming from these regions, I could make an educated guess that this person going to be in the region. Where are you watching? Where are you looking to see which region are you watching specifically?
Regional wise, we can divide by two, even though it has more districts. But when you look at the registrants in Upper Nima is higher as compared to Lower Nima where I come from. So the votes in Upper Nima is always high. If we were to travel, as you say, for the Geo belt, is high as compared to the Mana belt. Yeah. The Geo belt that is in Upper Nima is very clear. The Zoge, all the way that the capital area, they have had some significant votes coming there, entering to the current area, they have some significant votes.
Okay. Let's come to Morovia, Nima. I didn't want to give people high blood pressure and cholesterol to go all here. But let's come to Morovia today. It appears the long uh, drama that been unfolding Capitol Hill. What is happening? How is Morovia looks like this evening? What are people saying? What was the last talking point you heard before night potentially stretch to the Supreme Court?
Well, of course, on the 23rd of this month was set up by the Supreme Court of Liberia as a need to respond to the vote to the Bureau of Information filed by the Speaker Funati Kufa. So today was the ruling, and that is the point in Nairobi or in Liberia as a whole, apart from the Nima County by election. So there have been some chronological or some or should I say conjunction of events that have been following since the result was given today. Um, Speaker the majority plus Speaker Richard Kong has rejected the ruling by the Supreme Court of like we are saying that we will honor it, and we saw some jubilation from his clan just before the night of fall, and also the Speaker Kofa has said that he's willing to reconcile. Made a post just 30 minutes after the ruling was made, saying that he's going to set up a transitional committee and also a transitional reconciliatory committee. Again, that's many people were suggesting that does it mean that he wants to give way or to lead the process? So it was not very clear, but again, with that, many are pondering that probably Funati Kofa, since he has won quote unquote victory at the Supreme Court level, now he wants to give up the you want to give in so that the proper working of the House of Representatives can continue.
Okay, so let me go to my guys. If you can do one question briefly to hint. I know it's very, very late in Liberia after 12 a.m. You guys being up and down. No double waffle question so that he will go. Let's start from Mr. Bacon. First come, first serve. Do you have any question for Mr. Don? Jerry, do you have any question here from NIPA or Capital? Capital? Yeah, go ahead. Jerry, do you have any question?
I said no.
You boycott people. Are you guys not happy tonight? You're not happy about your country? What's your problem? Okay, let me go to the other guy. Let me see too, because he's satisfied that he's
I said I didn't have a question. I said no. No,
okay.
I don't have any question.
Okay, we're not forcing the old man. Maybe other guys having bad day. Moses, do you have any question for? No?
No question.
You always still on Isa. Waterloo, Iowa.
So I want to ask him as to whether he really visited or whether he was in Nimba during the voting period. So Dan, were you in Nimba?
Well, I was not in Myanmar, but I have, I've heard of like the public radio here. We have dispatched reporters from independent monitors who we've been working along with as well. I was there during the campaign time as well. So that is how it has been.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the way you spoke, I knew it. Then the second question has to do with.
We have one more question. We gotta go. Let me go to Terry. It's extremely late. I'm just sorry. Terry, do you have any question for him?
Well, I just wanted to know. I think somebody asked if he was in Nimba, and because we're hearing that there are people that there are political institutions that claim that they already have 98 to 80% of the tally sheets. So you're supposed to, I believe you're supposed to already have, if you're a political party and running Nima, but now you're supposed to have at least 75 to 80% of your tally sheets for you to be aware of your position. So I just wanted to know from him whether he have that information.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, sir. We as journalists or reporters, we usually quote the National Elections Commission. Sometimes, from my experience covering election since 2011, my first major election, 2005, I'm monitor, but I was not deeply involved with it. But 2011, I covered election very well in Liberia, 2014, 17, 23 in Ogbon now. So, the political excitement, the enthusiasm, sometimes there have been numbers that have been coming up. So many of the time we are not being carried away by those numbers, except for the National Elections Commission official tally center report. So we have been seeing all of those numbers. The Koga Camp has been claiming that they have 20,000 votes margin, for example. That was one of the posts that came up today saying that they are beating ED with 10,000 votes margin. While the ED camp today, or campaign chairman Yato was saying that yes, indeed, the people in Nima did well and ED has won. And again, later on, we were hearing that he has changed his tone, saying that the Koga is trying to cheat and they will be going to court. So these are some of those are information and sayings that are coming from both council. But to authenticate, then usually we go to the National Elections Commission.
Okay, that's who we have as LP. We're not going to do any assignment. Liberal, do you have any question? Why is he running away? Liberal.
He gone.
No, you got to come right here. No, James, we're still going to do it 1-1. We don't want to be breaking. We don't want to create majority. If this guy, Liberal, what's your problem tonight? Usually you're on fire. Why are you so quiet? Who bereaved?
No, I don't have, Mr. So.
Are you embarrassed of something that we don't know? We need to know?
I don't have no question.
That's very unusual. Yeah. So you want to pass it over to Jim to ask it for you?
Anybody that want to ask question, they can have question. I have no question.
Okay,
Yeah,
James,
so,
second quick.
Yeah, so I mean, Dan, are you aware that one of the candidates or two of the candidates, in fact, there's maternity Tinkba, I mean, has openly said that he would not win the elections, and that he, in fact, is saying that Samuel Koga has won the elections. Are you aware of that? Also, Fangalo made similar disclosure. Are you aware of that?
Definitely. First of all, yesterday, the first statement, James, was the statement coming from the CMC, the Citizen Movement for Change. Wherever Musa Beriti was the first to have posted that, indeed, from all indication, their candidate, B. Mark Greenwald, will not win the election. So he made a statement and congratulating the winner of whoever that win. And that statement again was modified. Today he's saying that Koga indeed is going to be the winner. And then Team Wanoki also made similar statement. Then lately around 5 p.m. local time here, we saw a statement coming from the Tillman camp congratulating Koga that he from all indication, Koga has won election. We saw that. So, so far, some people have been congratulating Koga. Again, Mr. Akwe, we cannot emphatically say that yes, what they are saying, we take it by the face value, but the National Elections Commission is still tallying, and even if you say that from your own war room, your report, sometimes maybe your report may not will not be in line with the National Election Commission tally report. So that's why usually we listen to the NEC report instead of those people. Yes, sometimes you look at a number and say, yeah, based on SRC number, I think I cannot make it, and give up. But again, this is how it is. There are some people who can do early concession, and some people will wait until the end before they concede defeat. So this is how it is, Akwe.
Okay, Mike Dunn, thank you so much. We know it's extremely late. We can't wait for that office to be officially opened where we can have this conversation. This is Lpr, and I'm Afonso Zien, so we'll be right back. Folks, welcome. This is a special edition of the All Things Considered. We're going to shift gear right now in the nation's capital, Monrovia, the long-standing, the first branch of government, the judiciary, and the executive, who is actually in charge of the rule of law. We say good morning to Mr. Said, monitoring live, Elijah NC, monitoring from Ganta City. Thank you so much for joining us here. Guys, let's come to the conversations of the day, and we can have a conversation, but let's do some little backtracking here, where all this began and how it started, and we can see how it looks like, and we'll have a conversation.
Push our agenda. We need to have our own speaker. So today, an opposition speaker will not push our agenda. We need to have our own speaker. So today, I'm a regime speaker. So today, I'm a regime speaker. So today, I'm a regime speaker. The speaker of the Republic of Nigeria is 100% supporting his excellent president.
Hey, after the declarations, some actions were perfected to justify his argument that he is a regime speaker, and the her honor today alluded in her argument. Let's see this. Taking our Shetty warehouse down or Clarendon area, they were demolishing, building new warehouses or sport complex under renovation. It seems not to be the case, but that was the office of the speaker then being vandalized, carrying the left-hand speaker there, the regime speaker. But two folks always been pointing, I am the rule of law. And after that incident, the president was furious. He visited the grounds of the Capitol building.
There's a lot of wanton destruction that is going on in this country. Beginning with this, we're not going to tolerate this anymore in this country. We are a poor country, people are trying to help us, and other people are bent on destroying this country. You have problem, we have the rule of law, we have every way in this place to be able to listen to you. But we're not going to accept this. And we're asking the Minister of Justice, all of the security apparatus, including our friends, to investigate this letter. People who are culprit, we will deal with them, and we'll set the tune for all other people who, when they get angry, they burn down the police and destroy this. We're not going to allow this. So we just want to say to console the members of the first family in this government.
Okay, The president setting the stage of the rule of law. We will not tolerate, we investigate, we deal with them. Those people, we don't know who is being dealt with. We don't know yet. They brought in expert, they are talking and they whatever. We don't know how much was spent to bring those experts from Minnesota, Terry's place in Minnesota. What I was Terry as a pastor and political commentator, pray for those people before going to library. We have no idea. But they say they're going to deal with the rule of law. But there are similarity with that of the president and also the embattled speaker, Fanatic Kofa. Malik, can you please check your link? I send that out to everybody. If you want, I can send back. So Kofa spoke to a major cable network to talking about the rule of law. Let's watch this.
What is important in any democracy is the constitution and the rules that we go by. Because we set the rules of the game before we start to play. Okay? We don't make it up as we go along.
Okay. That's Fanatic Kofa. So everybody, if you agree with me, everybody been saying rule of law. And then came to the decisions. Came down. So we're going to have a conversation now. But this is what how some of the senators reacted to the Supreme Court of Liberia.
The Supreme Court ruling is fair. Fanatic is the speaker.
The Supreme Court ruling is clear. That's Abraham Darrows Dillon of Moserado County, the chair on the executive. Strong Joseph Newman Boyka ally. The ruling is clear, flanked by Nathaniel CDC Magay on the ground there said the ruling is clear. So now, who is still apprehensive about this ruling? The Liberal doesn't look happy tonight. This is not a Liberal that I know. I'm not sure what is going on. Now, what we need to know now is who is for the rule of law. Is it Joseph Newman Boyka or is it Fanatic Kofa? The idea, the concept, this narrative that people, they are several branches of government. Give me a break. I don't buy into that. These branches of government operate simultaneously. The executive cannot survive without the judiciary. The judiciary cannot survive with the executive because when decisions are made, who affect these decisions? So now, I think the police, we saw the convoy of, let me move this here in from this guy, Dr. Mali, so that we'll see, took action. So, guys, let's get a conversation going. The dinner here is part of this event. Let's start with the Liberal Progressive. Liberal.
Yeah, Mr. So, thank you very much. It's a wonderful show. Wonderful to be here again tonight with you. As we said last night, we were coming here and to have a conversation. I'm happy with what is happening in Liberia so far. The Liberians coming from the huge election in Nima County. And then on top of that, the rule of law, the Supreme Court spoke. And we're very happy with all of the things that are coming out of Liberia. We might not agree with decision from the Supreme Court. We might not agree with the decision of the final decision of the election. But this is what makes democracy sweet. And this is what we've all been preaching about. Those of all who have been in the vanguard of this progressive movement, because some of us were the foot soldier those days, we now, and thank God that some of us are still alive to see that the sweat, literally sweat and blood of our brother, Mr.
Okay.
So, Mr.
No, hold on, let me pull you. Tonight, I am not here for games. I ask you a specific question.
Mr. So,
1942. Hold on one second. I am running the show, and I'm obligated to get answers from you, not just only for me, but for the benefit of the audience, people that are listening. So my question is, we all argue here the first decision came from the executive Supreme Court, was ambiguous and all going freaking getting crazy here with this Latin war here. Was the Supreme Court crystal clear today, Liberal?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Now, if you don't mind, man, and it's your show. If I have the privilege to be on your show, it's a privilege, and we all recognize that when we speak in the middle of a sentence, you can hold us to that and call of us, and we will be quiet for you to continue your show because it's the rule. Whenever each of us is speaking and you, the host, call up, we will be quiet and let you find why you're calling up. So, am I allowed to finish my statement, sir?
That's the answer. That's the only answer I need. I will come back to you if there's anything. Just put
Okay.
it down.
All
Okay,
right.
so let me come to Mr. Barker. I want to do it. We are fair. For us, we are fair. We want to do it in the order just how it happened. Mr. Barker, we all was whining and screaming and yelling to the Supreme Court. They brought in all whatever Latin war, and we all were freaking out. Why you heard today? Was it crystal clear? Was that what you were hoping to hear from the Supreme Court?
Yes. I'm not going to preempt the Supreme Court. I said it here before. I'm not going to preempt the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court make a decision. What, 3-2 or 2-4 or 1-4 or something like that. I think we got two dissenting opinion and we got three. So that's what the Supreme Court is. That's what the law is all about. It's propagated.
Okay, so that's what the law is all about. I'm going to expand on it because you're trying to leave it hanging here, and you guys will not leave anything hanging here tonight. So now the question and the burden is on who to affect the decisions of the Supreme Court, the executive. Correct? Do you agree with that? I'm talking to you, Mr. Bacon. Don't act like you're not hearing me because you just do not want to answer the question. My question is, will the executive act? Was Kofa talking about the rule of law? We heard the president talking about the rule of law. With those convoys that were temporarily transferred to the left-hand speaker, with the president, with the law, would they remove those convoys, you think? This is ridiculous. He doesn't want to answer my question. He pleaded fifth. Unbelievable.
Decision. And the Supreme Court have made a decision. The Supreme Court have made a decision. And it left for the executive where they're going to say today is a rule of law. We'll follow the rule of law. So going to court is the right thing to do rather than violence. The court has spoken, but I agree with say, but that's why we go there to the Supreme Court. It's a supreme law of the land. So when they speak, you might not like it, but somebody got to win. And they make it clear. But the question remains is whether the House of Representatives will honor it because they had their own rule of law within in the lower house. So there are three branches of government. Whether they will honor it, it's not have nothing to do with the president. It's do with the lower house and for them to make that decision.
This is ridiculous. Let me come to Moses. Jerry is now willing to answer my questions. Mr. Moses Senway from Delaware, security analyst. You listen to your colleague who is also an expert for trying to read. I don't know what he's hiding, what is he protecting, trying to bend the rule of law. So my question is, was the Supreme Court clear? Were they precise in their presentation today?
Well, here what I'm going to say. I can't speak to whether the Supreme Court was clear or unclear. What I'm going to speak to is precedents that have been set. I think that what happened today is going to exacerbate the chaotic government that we have in Liberia. It's going to make things worse because there are three equal branches of government, and we've said it here over again. The Supreme Court has no right interfering with the rules of our house. It's not a law. It's not a constitutional matter. This is an in-house matter that needed to be addressed. Now, my thinking is that what's going to happen if Fanatic Kofa goes and call a section and only 20 people show up? What's going to happen then? Secondly, all of the things that have been done under the leadership of Mr. Coon, of the so-called Speaker Coon, what's going to happen to it? Are they going to revise all those actions? You see, that's why the Supreme Court is now.
1 second. Somebody get a hold on 1 second more. Somebody get a radio playing. I'm getting the background. Please, if somebody get a radio, just go ahead, Moses. Please.
Yeah,
You see,
I'm trying to get out of here. It's mine.
That's why the Supreme Court is not supposed to interfere in this and leave it in-house, because the Supreme Court, that action today really set a different mindset of democracy in Liberia. That is not good practice of democracy. They have equal branches. They've been functioning under the same leadership of the sitting speaker. Now you come back and say that Fanatic Kofa is actually the speaker. So why did you accept the actions of that body? You see, there's a whole conflict. So now my prediction here is things going to exacerbate. It's going to go more, and it's going to create chaos. And my thinking is that when that ruling went out, the threat level, the security threat level of that country went up. In my own estimation, it went up. So it's a wait and see to see how people react and how they can exercise this. I think what they did was totally wrong. They should have stayed out of it completely, and let the people settle their own.
I don't know what the noise. What's the talking coming from? Okay, this is unbelievable. Moses Cindy from Delaware. Okay. Oh no, I'll take you over. So, meaning quickly before I go to the next person, you disassociate yourself from what the Liberal said. The Liberal said the Supreme Court decision was crystal clear, and it said so. You distancing yourself from what the Liberal said, right?
I'm not disassociating myself. I'm giving you my honest opinion, and I think that's what we need to do on the show. We don't give people opinions. We don't agree with people's opinion. We get our own independent opinion on it. I think what the Supreme Court did was totally out of place for them, and that they have created a total monster in that country.
So therefore,
and it's not a time before we see the repercussions of it.
So quickly, if to just sum all here, you are literally telling me that the executive cannot act on the decisions of the Supreme Court, correct? Because they are created mess.
It has nothing to do with constitutional matters. It has nothing to do with constitutional matter. It's not within the Constitution for the Supreme Court to make such decisions. And the House cannot abide by it. When you show that video of Darius Dillon and all of those people, listen, most of the people don't even understand their jobs and their responsibility as lawmakers.
Remember that you and Liberal now, you're brokering for good, and that is okay. Okay, let me come to Akwe. Akwe, you heard Jerry back on. Let me see. I'm not sure whether he's back. I don't know why they're running away. They're running away tonight. They are very uncomfortable, quiet, they something. Well, let me just bring you in here, Akwe. You listen to the Supreme Court's final statement. Both teams appear before the Supreme Court for their argument, for their presentations, and based on that, this day was destined. Negotiation were going on. We don't know what been negotiated for, whatever the case. But finally, the ice dropped today. So let me hear you. What do you make of the Supreme Court decision today? Who got a television or radio, something playing?
Pause.
I'll take from somebody on. From my end, I can say that today it was a legal victory for Fonati Kofa, but he lost a political show, especially among his colleagues. I respect the rule of law, and I only hope that majority lawmakers will recalibrate and to gather enough to get a needed number.
Mr. So the sound is still coming up, so it's not coming from me.
I don't know who's. Let me see.
I thought that Amadi said it was.
Yeah, I don't know somebody. Let me see.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Dr. Mane, you having something on there. Can you please turn it off? Because that's where the audio I just me tell you and it's stopped. I don't know where is it coming from. Okay, go ahead. Akwe.
Okay, so like I said initially, and Fonati Kofa won a legal battle today. But in my view, he lost a political show, especially among his colleagues. We're talking about majority lawmakers. I respect the rule of law, and I respect the ruling by the Supreme Court today, and I only hope that majority lawmakers who been on removing Fonati Kofa will recalibrate and come together and to do all they can. I mean, giving due process, get the needed number 49. So booting out, especially, I mean, a number of allegations, and, hangs over him. We're talking about, I mean, corruption allegations. We're talking about, conflict.
That is not where I'm going. Do not change this conversation. I ask you a simple question. This is what you guys do, and you're trying to change the narrative. We got cases by cases. We went to Supreme Court. How long we stayed?
I mean,
then when you get your own case,
the ruling by the Supreme Court, like I said, I mean, it was crystal clear. Fonati Kofa won a legal battle, but he lost a political show, especially among his colleagues. Then later on, I said, I respect the rule of law, and that his colleagues should give him due process. In as much as they want to get him out, they want to boot him out, get the needed number 49. I mean, to get him out.
Okay, quickly, the House is crowded. So you respect the rule of law. So do you want to call on the president in the public manner to also go with the rule of law?
The president has long been obeying the rule of law. From elementary civic, I know that among the three branches of government, I mean, the legislature makes law, the executive enforces it, and the judiciary, what they do is that they interpret the law, and that's what they just did today. So definitely, I will expect, though Fonati Kofa has lost a political show, but the law should be executed by the executive.
By the executive. Okay. Thank you so much. We want to welcome Koto Jalabalayan, the only queen in the house for LPR. I don't want these guys to compromise. That's why all the men are put on one side. You myself stay on the side. You see the labor tonight, everybody looks the pastor said in spirit to pray. He never pray for us here tonight. Usually he pray when we start, but tonight you heard the Bible, you forgot the Bible. Let me go to Pastor, political commentator Terry Collins. Collins, I'm not sure. Was this you were arguing here? Maybe if I'm wrong, you can get me right. That it's going to be the same old thing. But let's compare last presentation by the Supreme Court and that of today. What to put them on the radar? Which one is much clearer?
Well, I think the Supreme Court overruled the previous ruling. They did not interpret the ruling according to the way they interpreted it first. This ruling, they overruled the previous ruling, which according to law, I think they have the right, they can do that, because all of what they said today was not what they actually said previously. Sure. You understand? So that makes me to understand that either they were induced by some other external forces
From where? Tell us.
Give me a chance.
Oh, they were induced by the Russians or who?
Yeah, they could have been induced. And to be honest with you, I respect Senayo. I said it on the platform before that that woman, I trust her. I trust her decision. You know, and she came down hard, and that is how it's supposed to have been. You understand it? And she nailed it in the butt, and all of that. But the failure for Honorable Kofa is his inability to rally his colleagues.
There he lost the
The
political.
Supreme Court cannot enforce any law. Their responsibility is to interpret, which they have done. The body, that what Mr. Akwe said, the body responsible to make law is the legislature. So the executive cannot come between the two. They can say because Supreme Court has interpreted law, so we have to enforce it on the legislature. The legislature have to work it out together and then make sure that it is done for everything to come. Because, like, for example, now, if the Senate decide to say, okay, if the 30 senators go one way and say we go with the Supreme Court ruling, and they appeal to the president for the president to change his mind and give security back to the speaker, who is Honorable Kofa, obviously, maybe that will work for the executive to change course. But the executive cannot just say because the Supreme Court has interpreted. So now we're going to withdraw everything from what it needs. Which, if they do, I will be happy for that because I want it to happen. All right? Like I said here before.
Too much of contradictions.
No, I'm being objective. There's a difference between being objective. I don't take one side as sedition. I'm not a sedition. I'm neutral. So when I'm speaking, I speak from a balanced perspective. That's how I speak. You understand? I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I just go one side and jump in at how CDC people can argue that thing. I don't operate at that. So my only thing is that the Senator did very well. She was splendid. Hands up to her. I thank God for her. And I trust her. Like I said, this woman giving my children to me. I trust her, and she made the right decision. But the failure for Honorable Kofa to rally his colleagues and only depending on the court is not good for him. Thank you.
Mr. Saw, can I ask one question?
No, wait. You finish. Let one come back. Let everybody carry that around. Then you can ask a question. Just put that question down. Trust me, you're going to get it. Dr. Marley Jones. Here we are tonight. Jerry has developed an artificial toothache. You see him holding his jaw to his amaze. The liberal is in different war.
Because you're talking about that. That's the whole thing.
The same with the Supreme Court, yaba. The man from Iowa came to say, oh, the other one do this and this, I do this. The political revenue came in. Governor do this, governor, and that CDC, they are grabbing every little thing to hang on because they are drowning and there's no life jacket to rescue them. This is absurd. This is unbelievable to have these guys to come here that they don't have the courage to call on their guy, to call on the government to do the right thing. Instead, they still funny excuses. Dr. Mali, let's hear you don't come bring in Cotto.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank my co-panelists for standing and holding on to their usual gun. But I don't know, holding on to their usual gun is going to save the Republic of Liberia. The fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court has spoken, except for those who on their shortlisted slot, in conjunction with the Senate and the President, and waiting for future glory, we still continue to be in denial of what has happened. And so it's not only left with the executive, it's left with His Excellency President Joseph Boakai to enforce this thing. And this is where our brothers are finding it difficult to speak. But we will speak on their behalf. We will speak for and on
You're
their
not speaking.
behalf.
You're not speaking on nobody. You're not speaking on nobody's behalf. Speak for
Please,
yourself.
no
If you
interruption.
are unable to particularly articulate
Clever.
your view, then
That's the
just let us know, and we will speak for ourselves.
Please call the co-host the courtesy, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so His Excellency is supposed to reach out, supposed to call his police director and ensure that Speaker Kofa occupy his office and ensure that all the benefit and privileges associated with that office is installed with immediate effect. And to also ensure that all the diehard who continue to be in denial to get a feeling of hope that it's about time that we move forward. Initially, the Supreme Court was ambiguous, and they decided to twist their hand in one place to another. I don't know for what reason. Now they have spoken, and they have done their job. So the two groups will have to now see sense, whether it will work or not. But I think the president coming in to really talk to get it under control, I think it will make a lot of sense.
Okay, it will make a lot of sense. Let's bring in Koto Jala Balayant. Let's see here.
Oh, my God, how are you?
If I'm going to vote, we'll do vote here, the 20, then we'll carry it.
Initially, and
who's that?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. So. And I want to say thanks to the Lpr family. On Sunday where I was, there was a noise in the game. I could not log on because of the background noise. Oh. So I want to thank, all of you that participated in the fundraising and, to keep the institution up. Thanks to you all.
You're still ongoing, by the way.
Yeah. That's the best part, but the real part coming.
Yeah.
Concerning this interpretation issue, I would like to say this time around, I'm glad that the judiciary, or what they call the Supreme Court, were able to interpret, because we are lazy enough to comprehend when it comes to interpretation. It is like breaking it down. They want to breaking down to the lowest end, what we can call breaking it down to the lowest end. But this is no different from what they said from the onset. And I see the other side complaining that, we will not accept the ruling, especially the response from the embattled speaker, as we call himself. You were not held to the ruling, but why did you then go there to listen to the ruling? Correct. So today I have some of our friends, we were all here talking against the CDC of what they were doing, the wrong they were doing. And then I was able to talk to a few of our own people in the government. And I got some, feedback from them. A very terrible one, but I don't care, because it's like that's what they were actually campaigning for. Because if we say we campaign here to see the betterment for our country, we would not sit there, it won't be happening, and we then incorporate it. I was, share my view with them, and one came back to me and said we would not, adhere to the Supreme Court ruling. Then I asked, then why did you guys go there to listen to the Supreme Court ruling if that was the case, that you guys were not going to adhere to it? So why go? We just went there to hear what they have to say. So if you accepted a man invitation and said that, let's wait for it, and we all were saying, when it really comes, we're going to abide by the ruling. Why then? Because it gone the other way around, then we say we cannot accept it. But again, that human nature, we are in conflict, and I think now the ball is in the court of the president, because he has the power to implement, and I believe that this is where we're going to see where his strength lies. And for me, that's what I'm looking forward to, because the Supreme Court has played its part. Say, okay, I have had my part to play in it. And to our people who still say they don't understand, they can't abide by it, I think they should go back. We have our various areas where we are good at. They are good at making laws. The Supreme Court did not come say we didn't know how to interpret their laws that they made. So they should be able to listen to the interpreters. If they're interpreting whatever interpretation they have come up with, they should be, good enough to listen to the interpretation, because that's what they are good at. So now we look at the executive, to look at the president to see what the implementation he's going to have. For me, that's what I'm waiting on. But for now, I want to thank the Supreme Court for their decision. And we also heard one side basically complaining. Of course, this is why they have the odd number. And the reason why they have the odd number, because all of them will not have the same view.
Correct.
Somebody will have different view. So that he will be the one to have different view. And we have the majority who go by the majority. If they didn't have that system set today, we have been having problems because one man objects, so the rest of the people will be held on, in their ruling. So I just think that, for me, I'm waiting for the president.
I am waiting for the president. The Liberal is unable. So, Koto, you with us now. You with me, with Dr. Mali. The Liberal is unable to speak the word that you just spoke. The guy from Waterloo, Iowa, he's still grabbing stuff and things. The pastor who's supposed to pray and call for the president to take a bold step, he took up back to CDC, where and things didn't work well, but they're still sending us there. Now, this is quite interesting, and I think you spoke fairly, and that is good. You see Jerry Bacon running away here tonight. This is unbelievable. It's a complete disgrace. The Liberal is sad. You need able to call a old man out to take executive order. Terry tried to walk fine line. Interestingly, the president now, this is a challenge. I mean, according to what? And I know somebody gonna flip just now. According to this morning edition, Liberia ex-president George Weah urges boycott to uphold the rule of law following the Supreme Court ruling. The Liberal Progressive. We want to hear you. Can you unmute yourself, please? Don't allow you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soul. I just want to point out your bias and your unwillingness to listen to the Liberal here. They just show through again tonight. You allow people to speak for more than 2-3 minutes. And I was on here because you asked your question, and because I didn't answer the way you wanted it to be answered, you decided to come and steamroll me. And I allow you to do so because, I am not in the mood tonight to have any kinds of disagreement with anybody. So I will let you to do so. But let me just say this here. I will end my statement. As I stated before, the Supreme Court ruling is what it is. The vote that is going to be coming from NEMA is what it is. Nothing else we can do. All that I can say is that those of us that were the first soldier of the progressive, asking for, fighting for, and dying for one man, one vote, we have it. In Liberia, I also would say that in terms of exercising the rights of the citizen to be allowed to exercise their right, the franchise right, to vote freely, we have achieved that as well. 4 or 5 major conservative elections has happened in Liberia, unlike the United States of America, where the president of the United States of America said, if I don't win, that means people cheated. We don't do that in Liberia. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to have in Liberia. Now, in terms of what is happening in the ruling, we all stated here that they were going to come out, rule against the majority black. The issue now is what since Carter stated here, is what all of us has been talking about. Let's see what President Waka going to do, because this is where the man who is considered to be Mr. Clean, this is what it's all about. The man who Gerald Rowling recognized among thousands of people and said that's Mr. Clean. This is what it comes down to. So, Mr. So, the issue of who's responsible and who is not for me, it's not the answer. What Mr. President Waka is going to do, is he going to uphold the rule of law? Or is he going to say, this is the problem at the House of Representatives, it is not the executive issue, and we are not going to respect the rule from the Supreme Court that are asking another branch of government to take care of their house? We're not going to respond to that. If you weren't going to respond to that, if that's going to be the argument, then why were you involved in taking away Flanty Kofa immunities? Why?
But this is not, and I'm not going to allow you to go away with it. This is why you are not doing. You are not here of blowing the bullhorn and speak and call out people. You call out George Weah, former president. So let me just give you this opportunity in this public manner. Are you willing to call out President Joseph Newman Boyka to respect the rule of law?
Your deceptive opportunity is refused and rejected. I am not going to take that kind of deceptive opportunity as though I am so dumb. I don't know where you're coming from. I'm not going to take that opportunity. I will say what I want to say. And I'm not going to say what you want me to say. Let me say this again to you. Flanty Kofa, I believe, strongly believe, Flanty Kofa is not his intent to be speaker. However,
that's not a question that I asked you.
I'm not answering your question. You want shut me down? Shut me down. I'm ready for you. I'm ready now. I just got my juice. I'm ready. Bring it on. Bring it on, Mr. So. Bring it on. Let me say this. Flanty Kofa is going to say to the Liberian people, the Supreme Court has ruled. If the people want to remove me, let them come. And yes, I told you this almost 5 months ago. Flanty Kofa will be willing to even give members of his supporters, to give them to the majority black if they don't have the 49, so that he can resign. Flanty Kofa does not want to be the speaker. He doesn't want to do that. However, for the future of the Republic of Liberia, how to remove speaker, Flanty Kofa going to teach them how to remove speaker, including President Wakai, who is refusing to accept and see the rule. That's what Flanty Kofa going to teach him. I say so.
This is what I want to hear from you, to have that courage for the good of the country, but you are unable. Your guy, Jerry, be running away from this conversation, in and out, acting like somebody visiting him, or he's so busy because they do not want to participate in this conversation, which is so sad. But you didn't answer my question. Again, second chance. I believe giving second chances to people in life. We all made a mistake. Are you willing to call out publicly for the president to do the right thing?
The president have always done the right thing, and the president will continue to do the right thing. So there's nothing here for what's right for the president not to do. The president is going to, this is what I'm going to predict to you here. Let me just say this here quickly. The president will settle in and tell these people the Supreme Court has spoken. President Waka, look, let me just, I think I'm one of the few who used to call President Waka and continue to believe that he's a PhD. I've given him that title. You know that. Let me just say this here. This man is a very smart man. He doesn't talk much, but he's not dumb. He doesn't do much all the time, but he will do exactly what is right. This is how this thing is going to end. President Waka is going to tell Kun, he's going to tell Kun, the Supreme Court have exposed all of us. Get out. You want this man out? Follow the rule. I rest my case.
Wow. They are struggling tonight. Most yeah, don't worry, we're not in a classroom. You were talking. So I know tonight you guys are completely confused. So you're doing different. And now, this is not a sign language.
No, nobody. Look, nobody's on mute because
We're not inside language.
No. I try to give you the courtesy. That's why I raised my finger. I gave you, look, listen. I just give you the courtesy. I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt the say.
Let's hear you. Let's hear you.
No, we're not having a terrible night. How you soon?
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
What's the information? It's a point of information
Look,
you want to say.
Mr. Wakai is a dean of. Yeah, I said Mr. Wakai is a dean of politics. So all he's saying tonight is, look, Mr. Wakai. Look what he said tonight when he returned from the OU meeting. He said the rule of law will be followed. What else do you want a man to do? If you do this, this is how it should be done. Listen, we have the rule of law. The rule of law will be followed. But yeah, what I want to say to you, Mr. Wakai will follow what the law said. That's what it is. That's the rule of law.
What you think now? You think what's exactly precisely you want him to follow? You met Joseph Wakai. You had a dinner with him. You had a coffee with him. You know him better than I do. What do you think we're going to see happening in the next coming few days? Now the Supreme Court have spoken. What do you expect? What's your anticipation from the president, the chief executive? They implement the laws.
Listen, the president will talk to the president. Yeah, the president will talk to an advisor. He got a legal advisor. He got a political advisor. All these people will convene a meeting, and he will speak to the matter based upon the recommendation, and he will make that decision based upon the recommendation. And he's the president. Finally, he have to make the decision. So he will speak to his advisors with him.
You will be going back to Buju Bank again, Keita? My goodness. Okay, let's hear from Collins here and I go back. Keto, let's hear from Keto quickly here. Keto, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Sorry I didn't come on the show tonight. A little bit busy. But actually,
now we don't want that busy.
Since Carter for a long time. So I know. And tonight I'm impressed listening to Miss Bellman Cotto coming out to speak like a patriotic citizen. Unfortunately, the rest of the Liberal team, they're cowering, they're hiding their tails, and they're still speaking from the other side.
That's your own opinion. Talk it.
Oh, my man, give me 10. Don't be shaking.
Call somebody coward.
Go ahead, Keto, go ahead.
People on CDC. They came on.
But the question is, nobody. Our head, I think nobody more to say we're going to be on power.
Against CDC, in CDC government, I was not right. She was right, and so she took a stand tonight to come back on the same platform and say, "Look, the Supreme Court has ruled. All the Tabata Liberal and his follower, the preaching on this platform, they are all illegal, of course, illegal, and we must adhere to the rule of law. Let the rule of law take its course." We have been seeing over the months, the pastor want to be a politician. He was being deceptive in his analysis when he spoke about the things that were the impacts at the house. Today, you see the true color of the pastor now. You understand? When it has gone against there, they get come on and say, yeah, the Supreme Court, Richard Cool step aside and let us do the due process. No. Okay. They're chewing down their own words. They are struggling to even articulate what's supposed to happen. President Boaga should stand as the leader of this country. He took an oath to protect, uphold the Constitution of Liberia.
Right.
And he got to protect and live up to what he took, the Constitution. If he doesn't do that, well, it will be a sad day for us.
All right. Let me go. Everett, quickly here. You can stay on. You want to get to Everett, make your point quickly before I go back to the analyst on the live feed.
Thank you, Mr. Soul.
Yeah, a long time ago.
I'm coming to you right after that.
All right, thank you.
You get me, Mr. Soul?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Hello to you and hello to the panelists. Look, this should be a momentous day for us in our country when it comes to the rule of law. What is contingent upon the president adhering to this rule and putting all his minions, all his appointees, the Moalis and his acolytes in order, and letting them know that it is antithetical to our democracy and our rule of law for them to be questioning the Supreme Court interpretation of the Constitution. And I think if President Boyka does that, he will minimize the fallout from this decision. But ultimately, not to rub it in the faces of the liberal and terror, but we said it before, a blind man in a very dark room could clearly see that Namuko was not the speaker. We didn't need the legal luminaries to shed light on that matter. We knew for a fact that this was the case. And we admire Mrs. Valerian for speaking truth tonight. She knows these are people who are staunchly Unity Party supporters. They're coming to the understanding that this president has a habitual habit of, disregarding the rule of law. And this has become a pattern for him. And I think the Supreme Court has just slapped that, that behavior down and tell them to cut it out. And here's wannabe thugs and people who want to come up and give gangster talk that they will not adhere to the Supreme Court. Who are you? Not to adhere to the final arbiter of our jurisdiction and our jurisprudence in Liberia. So, Mr. Soul, you guys know the truth, and I'm glad you guys are sitting on the platform tonight. You're watching, you're listening, and I think
only a few of us here, liberal hands folks, they're not speaking the truth to the power. They're still dancing around here. Okay, thank you so, Elvin. Let me go to the man from Delaware. I think he said he wants to gain redemption. Mr. Moses.
Yes, sir.
You just sent me a text that you want to change your initial statement.
Thank you, Mr. Starr. And when we come on this show, we're here to give our honest opinion. It is an insult to us when people come in and start calling names because of the emotions. This is not an emotional thing that we're doing here, and no one is here to get under people's skins. The question I have to ask, which brings me to deduce that is really a challenge for our democracy in Liberia, is that people keep seeing the rule of law and the interpretation by the council, by the Supreme Court, and that is their binding duty. Everybody that is in the legislature, in the judiciary, and the president took an oath to protect the Constitution. What law has been interpreted in the Constitution by that decision today? That's all I want to know. Then I'll be convinced. What law in the Constitution was interpreted today by the Supreme Court? That's my question. And I keep asking people, and no one has given me a definitive answer. What part of the Constitution was interpreted? If the Supreme Court is supposed to interpret the Constitution and the rule of law, what part of the Constitution was interpreted today? That's my question.
Well, you asking the wrong person. I think the judiciary, but I think
No. I'm not asking the wrong person because we're giving our own opinion based on our civic responsibility and our educational background when it comes to civic, when it comes to the three branches. We're making comments about the rule of law,
the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah, what we're gonna do?
I want to know what part of the Constitution was interpreted by the Supreme Court today.
Okay, your friend Patron, the liberal, just sent me a message. He said he's gonna educate you. That's a word. He said I'm gonna educate the. In fact, calling you not a right liberal, now you're gonna educate you. And then Dr. Mali, and then I'm gonna add my own piece of cake, and I'm quite sure Carter gonna hire. And we understand. We know where you guys coming from. We know exactly why it's in the making. Terry, who is that? Okay, liberal, you want to go first? You say you want to educate your guy. He pleaded fifth. Other than running away. Dr. Mali.
Yes, Honorable Security Analyst, I just want to refer you to the live deliberation by the Supreme Court justices.
My brother, I said the Constitution.
I'm coming now. I'm coming.
I want the Constitution
Yeah, security chief, hold on to your gun. You need to cease fire. Yeah. I did not go to the newspaper to read a story today. I went to the live.
No, don't worry. That's why that is an educational forum.
Go to the newspaper to read a story today. I went to the live broadcast from the justices from start to finish. And trust me, they really quoted the Constitution back to back in that their argument there, especially when the Chief Justice was giving the final saying. So I want to refer you to go there and listen to it, because the journalist has a way of bringing it in so many different ways. So I bypassed that today and went straight to the justices.
Okay, so
when you there where I come in there where I got convened, because I was also concerned about the same concern you had. That constitutional backing, that origin. And I went there and I was convinced. So I'm referring to, I'm sorry, CEO are not getting a hand on that to put it up, but it's a long explanation.
I get it.
A long explanation. But as a matter of fact, the Daha who claim to love His Excellency Joseph Barker will continue to be in denial, even if they listen to the justices speaking. You will say they will still be in denial. So this thing is wasting water on dog back. CEO, I think we need to make progress.
Mr. So, can I contribute to what?
Why it is. I want to come. Let's say there are two references Trocom just posted, but Article 49, 43, and I'm just going to go straight to what the Constitution says. Article 49 of the Liberian Constitution deals with the House of Representatives. The Constitution, which of course they are part of it, because they are not, they shouldn't think that because they are lawmakers, so they are above the law. No, they are not. And that's what some of them get in their head. It mandates that the House Speaker, it mandates that the House elect a Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and other officers every 6 years to ensure the body's proper functioning. These officers can be removed by two-thirds majority of the votes of the House of Representatives. And then when you come back to Article 33, Article 33 states the Liberian Constitution, funded in the 1986 document, outlines specific rules regarding the House of Representatives HOR and its functions, including convening quorums requirement and powers to remove officer. That quorum, I know, they were not, and they are not up to the time they said. They never got that quorum. So how can you take somebody from RJA, put his left hand up, and just come and can't take the oath of office? That just doesn't work. And I think the Supreme Court was very elaborate today. All of the violations, all of the constitutional provisions that were violated. I think the Reverend said he's ready to pray for us.
Yeah, so Mr. So I think Mr. Sigbe, the Supreme Court was definitive today on what the Constitution says. The Supreme Court argument is that the Constitution says the presiding officer, once the presiding officer is the Speaker, and once the presiding officer is around, there can be no other group. If you are majority Black, you cannot move to have another quorum while the presiding officer is around. And the area I have problem with the Supreme Court, that I think that they also make contradictions, and I think that is what Judge Bassey was trying to highlight, was that they previously told us that they cannot decide who becomes Speaker or not.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the area. That is where they went across the bound, because they went to the extent now of start determining speakers and start canceling other stuff. So the law by which they interpreted was Once the presiding officer is in the building or is around, no other person can preside, including the deputy speaker. Anybody who presides and carry on any legal activities, that particular activity is unconstitutional.
Right.
That is what I agree with them. But the area I disagree with them is when they're going to start demolishing majority black and then also extending to determine who becomes speaker and ordering another branch of government to follow suit. That, in my opinion, went across the limit.
Terry, you are still living in the liberal. You are still living.
So,
let's do it orderly. Let's do it orderly so that people will hear. Or we don't want to be the other people. Terrorist, he not told his own. Liberal say you told my own. I told his own. He not told his own version. We're not in no Bible. He own made Bible. He finished talking it. Let's hear you. Carter will go to James and then Dr. Mali. But let's see here. There's a caller here. But Carter, go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Terrence hold the same view as to others that I have listened to. If my mother is here, and my mother even changed her position to go back to Liberia, she's nobody but my mother. I don't care. She can change her position from America to Liberia. She's still my mother. So the interpretation is saying Kofa had been the speaker. And with all the laws, application, explaining, state that he is the speaker. And you should have to tell before you take him off. So what are you still saying? You're going to say he's not a speaker? He is. If you did not reach to the tutor to get him out. So what is that saying? You did not reach the request. Anything that is just not done right, it's just not done.
Point of information.
Okay.
That's just the interpretation. You said, okay, you went. What point of interpretation? What point again?
I say deny. Don't let people to NEPA. Let the information deny. Tomorrow you can bring a point of whatever a deny. Let me power. Let me.
Yeah, let me power.
When I have your chat to know, the Supreme, her honor, Siane, yo, Bethel, Basio, all of them. They always have the voice view. So
yeah, and I understand that these people listen to what Bese is saying. Bese is one man. That's why when I was electing the Supreme Court bench, they did not make even number. They made it odd number because they know that one or two persons will go contrary or they will not agree to the rest of the people. Everyone get here, get that diverse view. And that's why they put laws. If we're not going to go by our own thinking and what I believe and what other people believe, then we will not come to a compromise. Okay, but we said, let's make laws. And it is the law that has been interpreted. Okay. It's not what I feel. If today I felt, I would say, yes, let a majority of black take over. They didn't take over, but the law says it's not right. They should have to tell. And they have not been able to tell. Who the tutor is against? Kofa. So why would you say they shouldn't say Kofa is the speaker?
Thank you.
It doesn't make sense to me. So the same thing.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I come in. Thank you so much. I want to come to you. Let's go to the line here quickly and pick up this call, and I'll come back to you guys, please. Let's hear you. Julie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's hear you. What's your side of the story?
Yeah, so thank you for taking my call. I'm calling for Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is, people say, oh, how they call it? I don't call it Congress because your brother goes in Congress. Or it's not the country, they call it Parliament. They say they are self-government, right? Nobody can tell them what to do. But then why did we have election yesterday in my country? Then nobody can tell them what to do and nobody can sit there. Why Cook actually get walk into the big house and say, yeah, I'm a senator and tell the story, and then my people agree.
Correct.
So there's a question. So I hear people say, oh, they are self-government. They are not self-government. People elected them to represent them. Even though because the people the wrong thing, but I think the other package and filling that package up and nobody do nothing to them. So I can really disagree with that kind of comment. My thing is, if Joseph Bada do not enforce the law, for me, I'm coming out of different perspective. If Joseph Bada do not enforce the law, I'm appealing to the AFL that they enforce the law. I fire my force. These people have the potential to bring war in our country. It's something that is very sensitive, and everybody is dividing and taking sides.
Thank you so
if
much.
Joseph Bada do not want to enforce the law, I appeal to the AFL. Let them jump in there and get these guys out of there. If they committed treason, let them charge them, send them to court, and send them to jail.
Really?
Because for the three people cannot carry our country and say that because I'm a self-government, so nobody can tell me what to do. If Joseph Bada, I'm not a general for AFL. If I'm a general for AFL, I'll come on radio. For the AFL, I'm not for the AFL.
Thank you so much.
That'll be another story. I'm not a general.
That's why we have laws.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
I'm appealing to the AFL to jump in there and get the guys out of there. They'll go back
Don't do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, we discuss a high court issue here, things on this network. Each and everyone represent his or her voice on this network. So, yeah.
Send me the address, please.
The what?
Your address, so I can buy the computer before I lose the credit.
Okay, all right.
Right. The 30th because I don't want for them to take the money back.
Okay, I'm gonna text
All
it
right,
to
so
you.
I'm gonna show you can call me and send me every other information.
That one
Yeah, I can
important.
do that.
The show not even any said that one important. I will do it right now. The Tabata, I will tell you the Tabata, the people on here, they must say now on it. Thank you so much. All right, Julia. Okay, yeah. Terry, who are coming in? Terry or
Akwe, James.
Okay.
I can go ahead.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
Quickly.
You know what? And then I think Jerry.
My concern is not that the Supreme Court cannot tell Mr. Wahidi Kofa to be the speaker, blah, blah, blah. My concern is, John, that the Supreme Court cannot order the legislative branch of government to follow the ruling. The Supreme Court is responsible to only interpret what the law says. They cannot order the legislative branch.
But that's what happened.
Collins, that's not what they did. They didn't order anybody. Finish, Collins. They did not get any order.
I read an order.
No, I say you really.
Can Terry talk? We are going to interrupt.
Yeah,
let's
somebody can correct me. I will be willing to accept the correction.
No, your point, Terry. Sorry, I think maybe we just.
No, I just wanted to know if they didn't give an order. If it was not an order, it was just an
actually, it's not an order. What the Supreme Court, what has happened in the past, I think the Supreme Court was giving these people a chance to, as a House of Elders, to see whether they will come to a political compromise, because the House is politically charged. And there was a reason why they used that Latin word, that it was just not done properly. So there were two things, and I said this here over and over here, that they could have done. Take a political line, spend some money, lobby, and get the numbers, get the vote, the 2/3, and vote him out. And this is what Kofa has been consistent about. But what these people did, it was a complete political coup d'etat. It's like you now overthrow a government and then you go run to the radio station, say you get a country, and they start playing national anthem and you start to doing that. We saw that happening in 1985, and we saw the repercussion. This is a political version that was done, and it's dangerous. That's why the guy came running up and putting his left hand up, because he know what they were like, let's do it quick, so we'll move from here. And this is where some of all was calling on the president to use his wisdom, but it was being misinterpreted. Jerry, back on.
Yes, the thing. If you read the dissonant opinion today, Mr. Basic, Right, yeah, Mr. Yomi. Listen to him. Go read his opinion. Technically, here we are, the budget passed under the supervision of the speaker. So the money they receive, the Supreme Court and said receive, are they sorcery to the crown? Because no one fully well, this speaker was not a legitimate speaker. And he passed a bill and he passed a budget. Now they receive their salary. Are we going to make restitution to this salary? So we still have constitutional issues. Okay? Because they said no. As a sitting lawmaker, knowing the fully well, to receive money on a false pretense is a crime.
So let me be
committed. It's a crime committed.
Let me borrow Liberal, with your permission, let me be ridiculous here for the first time here. Then here what I would tell you, Jerry Bacon Washington. Then it is Joseph Boyka because he wanted his budget to pass. This is why he took Fanatic Kofa, and this is why he brought a left-hand speaker so that he would buy a $1 million ammo or whatever bulletproof car. So he needs to bring that money back to as well. And let us start all over. It is ridiculous for you to ask that question. Liberal, do you agree with me?
Mr. So let me just say this here.
Listen, no, and I agree with you. No, and I agree with you. Listen to this. You see, what you do here is you take the majority view. You are not even looking at the minority view of the Supreme Court. Nobody has spoken about the minority view, and that's what the Constitution is all about. That's why we have 5 judges. We got the Senate, and we got the majority. The majority said this is what we had a Senate position. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. The majority said today that the speaker should go back and obtain his position, and there's a minority view. And yes, a minority view, and say this was articulated that he said about the money issue. What going to happen to the money that passed on the current speaker right now? So these are issues. These are legal issues we will have to do. So every position is important.
What I want to tell you,
I must ask the majority position. Yeah? No,
okay.
look,
So,
hold on. Let me say something. Let me say something quick. Go read. No, I can't go. No, listen. We in America, and let's do it this way. Go read one of the landmark cases in America here. Just Google it right now. Livingston versus Virginia, the state of Virginia, because black men couldn't marry a white woman. And listen to the dissent. There were 7 judges or 9 judges. At that time, was 7 judges, and there were 2 dissent. So dissent, we just have a president today in our country.
Then what happened?
Listen, you see, when you are doing something, please, no, listen. We have dissent position. What happened to the dissent position today? Nobody's speaking about it. All we want to do this is what the majority say, but there's a dissent position, and also it's a law in our country because we had a dissent position.
Mr. Bacon, but yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is not an overnight decision by the Supreme Court. Do you know how long they have, besides even hearing from both parties? Do you know how long they went with their deliberations and maybe vote were taken? I am not saying Bese or Basi, I'm not saying his opinion doesn't matter. But when 4 or 5% discuss, goes in chamber and deliberate, and they take their vote, I can come out here and do a memoir to say I agree or disagree. That doesn't mean the decisions of the group is not valid. So don't come send me to Virginia. I'm from Grand Gita.
Mr.
Mr. So, I just making because I see I'm making. Listen, I'm just making a reference to what happened in this country when it comes to a landmark case. This what happened. What happened today? No, what happened today? Listen, sir. I know that this is a show. I'll soon be leaving the next 2 minutes. What happened in Labrador today is a landmark case that when you and myself we are going tomorrow. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. It's a landmark case. Maybe other people just take it as, oh, Tabata. No, it is not. It's a landmark case that tomorrow, 30 years from now, 100 years from now, this case will be referred to tomorrow in our judicial system. So it's something to take serious. We're not just going to say, oh, the majority say this. Because if somebody who going to law school will say, no, there's a dissent position. Here was a dissent position, and this is what a dissent said in that position in the ruling. So we shouldn't just sweep it under the rug and say, "Oh no, this is because the majority." Oh, no, the
Okay,
majority
all
said
right.
they can
Okay,
vote.
Eric,
That's granted.
We should,
Because the
we
majority
should,
has.
Yeah, Mr. So.
let Africa come in. So yeah, what we're gonna do? It will be interesting to see how he and the Labour will be on their program tomorrow. That one, Bamboo, we're really gonna devour.
Yeah, I'll be with the Labour tomorrow.
Yeah, let's hear James and then we'll go to Dr. Miller. So,
Mr. So, I have to talk.
no way, Jim has not spoken. You just answer. Don't worry. You tomorrow you're back on. You will do your own thing. Just relax. Let's
Okay,
hear.
so Mr. So let me take the time off first to reject. Yeah.
Own people. What Mr. Bako is uncomfortable on his children.
I'm not comfortable. I just telling you why the law is. That's what the law is all about. I agree. My father, thank you, thank you. No, that's my lady. That's my girl. I love her. I love her on this show. Thank you so much. I love her. She's one of our strong supporters.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
I love her.
Yeah, Mr. So let me take the time off first to to reject and condemn that color. I mean, who made this statement, about the AFL and the rest of it. Yeah, this is the 21st century. This is not the Stone Age, years back when might makes right. We are above that. So that level of even and the quantitating and even thinking, is by far below the belt. So we can't sit here, to just allow him, go free, with those words or so. So yes, earlier again,
exactly. Yeah, rebuke him. Yeah, some PRC. Thank you.
My brother, today I told you that Fonati Kofa won a legal battle there at the Supreme Court. I said that. And it makes no news for the Supreme Court to tell me that Fonati Kofa is speaker. In fact, in the citation I was sent out, Mr. So you saw the citation I was sent out, right? In that citation, they refer to Fonati Kofa as what? The speaker. What the Supreme Court is saying there today, friends and others listening to us, hey, go back and do this thing the right way. That's it. We know that Fonati Kofa is the speaker, but to get it out, you need this number to get it out. I think that's what the Supreme Court was just re-emphasizing what it has been saying.
Exactly.
And let me just nail in on the question you asked and something too about we are coming down and making a strong statement. I mean, today after the ruling, and from all fairness, my brother, I technically do not believe that we has the moral compass or the moral rectitude to begin to say these things. Trust me, it is right. Other people should say it, but it should not be George Weah. George Weah championed the removal of a Chief Justice. George Weah refused to listen to the ECOWAS code when it came to the issue of Cabinet Janet. So I can't sit here to listen. I mean, it's too paradoxical. I see an irony right there. Other people should talk about, hey, man, it should not be George Weah telling us, hey, I mean, President Barker should be able to observe the rule of law and the rest of it. A George Weah should be able to tell me that. A George Weah who sat down there and championed the removal of a justice there from the Supreme Court could not attend to the issue of Cabinet Janet. He would be the one telling me about the rule of law. No, he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it.
Thank you so much.
We should allow other people to really speak about this thing. Yeah, I think George Weah really lacked that political gravitas to begin to tell us about these legal matters and issues. When he was there, he was there, he saw it, he faced it, and he did nothing about it.
Hold on. We're going to be strictly on time. My 10 o'clock will be going. We're going after. It will not be more than 10:03. We got to do it. Let me bring in Dr. Malley to make his point. From there, we're going to go around the room.
What's wrong with me? I'm not allowed to talk?
What?
I'm not allowed to talk because I have a show coming on tomorrow.
Mr. So, I'm on the team.
Jerry, what's his name? Is that Evans or the other one?
He silenced you. That's what he do.
Let him be there for a while. Let me say this here, Mr. So before
you got to exercise restraint, please.
There's no restraint. I beg you. Keep your restraint in Rhode Island. There's no restraint from my end here. Mr. So let me say this on a very serious note.
Yeah, what you want to say now? You can't wait it up. You coming? You were close. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. You're gonna speak your guts. Trust me, go chair. You're gonna speak 5 minutes. I'm gonna give you. Sit down there.
Well, I think if the
oh, you fooling me? You
oh my goodness.
I'm gonna sit down there, you'll give me back.
I like the fact the message sit on there.
One point of correction here. This go to our honorable journalist, Mr. Akwe. When Joawea was being accused of manipulating the removal of Kabina Jani, we didn't have the facts. We didn't see the evidence. And the same thing go to His Excellency Joseph Boakai. He had been accused of undermining Kofa removal.
And what are you saying? Do you have the facts?
I mean, now, let me hold your gun. Okay? He has also been accused of undermining the removal of Kofa. We also don't have those facts.
Okay.
Those are our opinion. So we cannot set this to transform it into a pedestal to say, oh, Joawea is not a rightful. He's a citizen of Liberia. He have all right to also speak on this issue. It's a sensitive issue because the same issue is in Joseph Bakas's court.
Joawea uncle, don't play with Joawea uncle.
And the next correction here is that the Supreme Court also frowned on the passage of the budget. I mean, the 4-1, they frowned on it. They said it was wrong. All the decisions that were even taken while Kofa was still around, and the speaker started dancing, the deputy speaker started dancing all over, they said were also wrong. So the question now, whether the money will be brought back, that's a different discussion. But what we are telling the labor tonight, to tell His Excellency to enforce the rule. I think this is where the CEO is coming from tonight, and a lot of people try to take unnecessary exit.
Don't worry. He said he sent me a text that's gonna be his ending statement. He doesn't want Jerry to feedback. Jerry then to feedback because I his friend. And so when you finish closing, it will go. Okay, guys, we're gonna do 1 minute. It's 10:02. We just gotta do 1 minute each to close. Terry, let me come to you on the phone line. Kettle, 1 minute quickly. Let's hear you.
Yeah. So I like to just say to the journalists, my brother James, right, who's supposed to be an independent, knowledgeable journalist, will come on this platform and say the former president has no moral ground to speak on this issue. It should be ashamed. You got a sitting president that you support, that during the campaign, he ran against the unlawful removal of Kabina Janet. He talked about constitutional issues that he said President Weah did, that he was going to right the wrong in our society. You supported him. This old man being vindictive, the speaker to Rome to meet the Pope, the late Pope, at the same time plot against him, came back, supported a purported speaker, and then you don't have the moral ground to even talk on this issue because you're supporting a man who is damaging our constitution, you destroying our nation. You don't have the moral ground to speak on this issue.
Thank you.
We should be speaking. We should be speaking on the issue. And the law is the law.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this man, due process. That's why the Constitution says due process. Due process includes the man you should have 49. They should go through the process of investigation, finding that he wrong, and they will do the two-third vote, and he be out. That's all the Constitution says.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, let's keep it to the point. We've got to go. We've got to go. Who wants to go first?
All right, Mr. So I want to go.
Okay. Then from there, it will be Mr. Collins. Yeah, let's hear you cut to the 1 minute.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to you all. At least we able to hear, our own mind and our own thought. Our own thought and our own mind does not make a final decision. It is the law that we made has to be interpreted that we function honor. So what a dissenting view. The dissenting view that will be there, that those who want to go do research and things, going to look at our dissenting view. We're looking at the final ruling. That's what the people looking at. Even many people did not even listen to the ruling. When you see those that are arguing right now, they didn't listen to the ruling that the Supreme Court came up with. Oh, they say Kofa as speaker. All of what led to Kofa still be considered as a speaker, they did not read it, they did not even listen to it. That hearsay. When some of them, when you're talking to them, they say, "Oh, you sure that's what they have to say?" All they do not know. So we are under the obligation to explain to them the details about it, like you said. I know the dissenting view is there, and we have to also tell them that this is what Bese said, and that's why Bese came up with his own explanation. But his explanation does not hold because the majority rule. And in law, we accept the majority rule. That's election.
Thank you
and
so
he should respect the view of his colleagues.
Thank
and
you so
stop
much.
making issue out of it.
Yeah,
And I'm calling on my President Baka, please listen. And I know he can listen to the ruling. That's what the Supreme Court have come up with. Let's respect the rule of law.
yeah. This way, now when you when Sonny can he go out of the country when friend they come in a council tomorrow he gotta speak before Sunday.
You're not running out of man responsibility, man doing a job.
Yeah, you gotta be proud. Okay, let's hear Mr. Jared or Terry. Terry won't go first. Clarence, please hold on 1 second. My analyst question. Terry, let's hear you.
Yeah, so I'm one of those who came on the platform, and from the time Richard Kuhn put his left hand up, I said that Richard Kuhn was not speaker. I'm one of those who have been definitively clear on that.
Yes.
I also, the last time, reaffirmed that when the Supreme Court ruled that our people should follow suit. Now, what will end this impasse will still have to bog down to the majority conceding to the Supreme Court ruling, because the majority is under a branch of government that is separate from, that shares equal power. Honorable Kofa, I also don't recognize Honorable Kofa as the speaker yet, up to now. In as much as Supreme Court can say, hey, in my opinion, I don't think he did well. Under his leadership, the Capitol building, our historical Capitol building, was burned. And there were statements that he made that led to, that must have influenced people to do those things. And that is the reason why, in my opinion, I don't still recognize him as speaker. I want to believe that Senate you today did the right thing, and they set a new precedent, in as much as feel that they went overboard. But it's good for places like Liberia, because people tend to take things out of proportion many times and do the wrong things and go all the way with it. And I trust her. I trust her decision. Even though they were harsh today, they crossed some bound, but I think she did it because of all of what we have been seeing, breaking in office, breaking in cars, and all the kind of thing. I believe that President Baka can do the right thing, but it is also up to Honorable Kofa to lobby his colleagues and get them to follow suit. If he refuse still and think that under the Supreme Court ruling will maintain his position, he will be making another mistake, and he will plunge our country back into another chaos. Thank you very much.
Wow, this pastor. Jesus Christ. Kakwe, let's hear you.
Yeah, can I come in? Sure.
Okay. Going back on.
Yeah, back on one. I don't know why he's going to leave the show so quick tonight. I said, you myself going to have our final conversation. You here with me? No, you're not talking to go. Where you
okay,
going?
call me later after the show. Give me a second to talk. Call me after the show. We'll talk. Call me after the show.
No, we're not going to talk nobody. Okay, make your statement so you go. Then they play. Fatu, he's
you take him
very
on time. Just call me after the show. You take him.
Go ahead, Mr. Bako.
See you. Look, the law is the law is promulgated. It's now 1 + 1 = 2. That's why we got Senate view and we got majority view. The same way we got majority and we got minority view. So that's what it is. But let's listen to Basin's own argument, and it is legitimate, and it's time for people to read. And like my sister who just said, to go do a research. Look, one of the landmark cases in Liberia without even paying attention to, they say either where Gonglo, what her name is, versus Tom Gropi in the election when she was defeated. It went to the Supreme Court, and they make that decision. So these are landmark cases. People don't read these things. They just come and blah blah blah. They talk, but the laws are there. That's why we make the law. That's why the Supreme Court make a decision, and we use it. These are landmark cases. Tomorrow we're going to have our good time. We're going to be here. Nobody's going to be suffocating you. Have a good night. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. You suffocating us. You sassing us. Yeah, you sassing us.
Judy, she will throw us landmark where.
The co-host.
Oh my God, it's going to be a nightmare tomorrow with Samson throwing this guy in, because two of them are going to be ridiculous. The way he starts. Okay, go ahead quickly, Akwe.
Yeah, okay, so today we observed the arrival of, President Boakai at the Robertson International Airport, and we observed him.
Was light on?
Yeah, so upon his arrival, yeah, go ahead.
You even got a question.
Yeah, I said light was on.
Oh, okay.
I watch it. Yeah, I watch it.
Okay.
So upon his arrival there upon his arrival at the Robert International Airport, he reaffirmed commitment towards upholding and the rule of law. And I trust that, and I know he's going to do it. And it sounds very ironical to me when I see George Weah beginning to act like a civic teacher and trying to teach us about, basic principles of democracy and the rule of law. He was there. He stabbed democracy on the back several times. And in my view, he's just so Spanish enough and really does not hold, that compass when it comes to telling us what rule of law should really be. I want to call him, and Fonati Kofado, he won today the legal battle, but he will struggle with his colleagues there at the legislature. He needs and a number of individuals. I guess this is not time. We're talking about serious reconciliatory talk. I really do not know whether he can ever achieve that. I really do not know whether he can able to achieve that, and to see how he can galvanize, the number, that will hold in there. And again, these are serious times for our country. We all respect the rule of law. That's what we want. We cannot be there to say the executive should begin to execute what the judiciary has said. Let's hold on and see. The guys will be coming up when in the second week in May. The second week in May, lawmakers will be coming back for their regular sessions to discuss issues about moving the country forward. Let's see what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you so much, James. We are extremely out of time. Let me just pick the
30 seconds.
Just 30 seconds. We out, please. We just gotta go. We're way over the time. Clarence, let's hear you quickly here. 45 seconds.
Okay.
Hey, see you all. Good evening, and the panel on the show tonight.
Fatu been asking for you. Where were you?
We in the house zone tonight, so you're not seeing our comments and things tonight. You know that we in the house zone.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just asking you. Go ahead quickly.
To me, the Supreme Court did the right thing. And we cannot keep the country under the kind of condition. So who's is right? That two sons from the same country getting the same region fighting for one position. That one person put a desire on one side and get another country move out. Because if the president side will come to kill your own government against a real, I don't think it would be fair for the Liberian people. For one person's sake, we'd rather get the person go, another person hit. If financial will take over, let the government move on because we country need to go forward. But the hypocrisies in our Liberia or Georgia, that's what we are seeing there. So they say, when in Nima County during the Prince Johnson death, and when it made it, because the whole speaker fight were almost sitting down. He went and went the whole thing on in Nima County. That time they representative from Bonkan, they say somebody doing a liquor talk, they getting this and I brought it up. And he coming out tonight, getting into to start contradicting himself. I think it's sad for our country. But I will call you tonight, directly from Susu Avenue. I'll call you from Susu Avenue. So thank you for the show, CEO. Okay. And please send me the cash out number. Text me the number.
Okay, I'll do that. Both cash out is there, but I'll text it to you.
Okay,
so,
then.
but you listen to your Libra tonight?
Listen, I said we are in the high zone because all the one I beat tomorrow, I saw that Tabata
tomorrow, by you and Jerry.
Tomorrow, when they were allowed to concert because if something is wrong, Mr. So, when something is wrong, it's wrong. You don't get a number, go by yourself under the man. What is suffering the people, the poor people? It's not correct.
Okay, thank
for
you.
For the legitimate speaker, not getting the chance. Then you get by the water, you bring the team back together. Not getting the chance.
All right, thank you so much. I didn't even pick your call tomorrow. Okay, Dr. Mali, let's hear you quickly before we start.
Yeah, His Excellency's statement to the airport today is inadequate. One action. I agree with the panelists that Kofa is going to have a rough time, but that rough time can be softened by His Excellency. So what we expect His Excellency to just do simple, come up with a presidential decree, ask the guys on the other side to go by the rule of law, to go by the verdict of the Supreme Court today. I think that's all we want to hear. And when he speaks to that, I'm sure Kun and his people, it's never late. We shouldn't make a mistake here. It's never late for Kun and his group to still move Kofa through a due process. No, it's not late at all. You see? So if he make that statement, I think that will consolidate the ground and they can go through the due process. But other than that, if what His Excellency said today to the airport and no action is followed, trust me, they're going to be a stalemate again. So His Excellency will have to do a due diligence to the Supreme Court decision by coming up to speak to the nation and asking Kun and his group, let it go back and implement the due process. Thank you.
Okay. Let's come to the political guru of this network that is involved. You know him today, you don't know him in the next second, and as whoever. But he's a political and engineer scientist, the liberal progressive.
Thank you, Mr. So. It was a wonderful show. Good to be here. Good night. Thank you very much.
Wow. What a bad name. The man is reserving everything for tomorrow. Okay, guys, we want to thank you so much for the no, it is why it is. The Supreme Court is just interpret what the constitutions say. It was wrong, go and do it the right way, and that's what we've been calling. Do it the political way, lobby, spend some money, get these boys, teacher in the oil, they people they all about money. You can get 200, 300,000, a lot of loose money all around there, get the number 49, the two-third that is required, and then you remove the speaker, and that's it. I don't think Kofa even offered that. But what Kofa been fighting for? Kofa has been fighting for the Constitution to be respected, for things to be done the right way. I don't think he's looking at himself, but he's looking at what to come next. It could be him tomorrow. Today he could have let it go and whatever. Oh, what? He's not fighting for this. But If this was not protected, trust me, anytime group of people get put together, say we don't want anything, they can just get away with it. I think those are the kind of things, Kofa being a lawyer, those are the things that you are protecting. Gentlemen, so what
CEO, 1 minute.
Thank you.
They vetted today, automatically brought Speaker Cooper back as a speaker.
No, but I mean, it's clear. That's of course.
No, the men of God disagree on that, but he's the speaker automatically based on that vetting.
His opinion. Thank you
No,
so much.
I did not disagree. I said, Terry Collins, do not recognize, because you see, I love Honorable Kofa. And that is why I told him this whole saga would have been easy if he had resigned. Like you guys are talking now.
No,
tomorrow, he
was a
becomes speaker. He go back to the horse. He still will need to resign because the people do not want him.
You don't have to.
Even if he say, okay, let's go back. When he go back and he resign, is it not the same thing?
No,
but anyway,
we need to have things done the way it should be.
This thing will happen again in another regime. That is Liberia for you. That's how it work. This particular thing happen.
Yeah, and I want to agree with Terry. I mean, I know. I mean, he's just going to save his face, maybe to just resign. That's it. That's all.
If he resign, another same thing was supposed to do.
If you resign,
you come back and resign again after you resign, then you will resign again. Then why you did not resign? I wasn't.
Then you say you want to think. Yeah.
No, you see, guys, you're good now.
Okay, good now.
So the issue at the place was too much political than legal. This was a political matter, and that's why the Supreme Court should have long expelled this thing, push it, make a statement, make a decision about the whole thing. And Mr. So, but have a wonderful time, and we meet tomorrow. Of course, the man from Waterloo. Good day.
Bye-bye. Okay. Good morning. Good evening, depending on your location. I am Alfonso Z, and so to be like the Republic Radio and Lpr-Tv. Please lend me your ears for a few seconds, a few minutes, or just a little of your leisure time. This is personal for me. As head of this network, we have come a very long journey, and we have reached the point where we have to do everything possible we can. Together with you, we cannot just do it by ourselves. But Fighter Quiet have argued a point here that we need help. We need a financial contribution. Your support is unquestionable. You are here every evening, every night, morning, depending on your location, to listen to us. Not that we know it all, but you value to what we do, and we do value to your presence with us. But together, we can build this network. We can build this institutions that we can be proud of. So we have reached a point where we are asking you for your financial contribution, and not just on the financial. It can be in kind as well. We have planted, or we have a roof over our head in Liberia. And as such, the extraordinary men, young men, women that are volunteering their services throughout in some of the counties, their commitment is unquestionable. Some of them has been with us since 2011, and some have not survived those events, was waiting for this dream. There's no way that we can disappoint them and let this dream go. So we have roof over our head, and it must be sustained. The financial help, whatever help in any way, not necessarily cash. We intend to have 15 reporters, correspondents, or more throughout the length and breadth of our country. The narrative of this unique story has to be told, and only a media institution can do that effectively, giving all sides of the story, no matter who you are, which demographic you represent, but we cannot do it by ourselves. We wanted to have an arguable reason that we can ask you to give. It can be a phone, unlike phones, very usable. It can be an iPad, it can be a tablet, it can be a computer, it can be a laptop. Anything. Even if you want to make donations directly to our team inside Liberia, we are open to that. You can even buy a power bank. You use that. You know the electricity challenges in our country. You know it all better than I do. So I've come here in this manner to appeal to you, our viewers, our fans, our followers, even those that disagree with some of our talking points. We know that we don't say it all right at times. Sometimes you are offended because of your political attachment. We do understand that. But overall, the interest of the country comes first. And so the courage, despite some of the things that we're talking, you come back the next day to listen to us. It is because of the strong convictions for better Liberia. We do not intend to outsource ourselves. And that's one of the reasons the media industry in the country is compromised, because it appears if you don't have that political strong will backing up financially, it means the media will or is compromised. So what are we doing to help this process?
Our agenda. We need to have our own speaker. So today, an opposition speaker will not push our agenda. We need to have our own speaker. So today, I'm the regime speaker. So today, I'm the regime speaker. So today, I'm the regime speaker.
What is important in any democracy is the constitution and the rules that we go by. Because we set the rules of the game before we start to play. Okay? We don't make it up as we go along.
There's a lot of wanton destruction that is going on in this country. Beginning with this, we're not going to tolerate this anymore in this country. We are a poor country, people are trying to help us, and other people are bent on destroying this country. You have problem, we have the rule of law, we have every way in this place to be able to listen to you. But we're not going to accept this. And we're asking the Minister of Justice, all of the security apparatus, including our friends, to investigate this letter. People who are culprit, we will deal with them, and we'll set the tune for all other people who, when they get angry, they believe they destroy this. We're not going to allow this. So we just want to see to console the members of the first family in this government. And we're in sympathy with them, but this destruction we have to stop. And we're not going to allow this to happen in this country. But people who are problems, we have a way to remedy all the issues in this country. So that's all I have to tell you. I'm happy that you are here. You will look at yourself. We're not going to settle for this. This is not a place for hooligans. This is a place for responsible people who are here to serve the Liberian people. This country is poor, and I don't care what they do to build this country for the interest of future generations. Thank you.
His Excellency President Joseph Newman Boakai is there speaking to the media.
The Supreme Court ruling is fair. What is the speaker?
Okay. All right, folks. There you have it. I'm not sure here. We say there you have it there. The Supreme Court ruling is clear. Fernando Kofa is the speaker. And that's why you heard Senator Abraham Darros DeLong and that of Senator Nathaniel Falomangi of Mount Gibby County are saying right there. And the president made it crystal clear they will not allow hooligans and people to take laws into their own hands. The idea, the concept of separate God, the other branch of government cannot interfere in this. No, there's some sort of dependency on one another. Executive cannot just do it. Executive execute order coming from the judiciary the same thing from the executive. Why you think when someone murder and somebody do the send them to court? It is the court that will determine whether it goes wrong, whether the crime was committed. And if the crime is committed, the court goes into that case, the court judge it, whether they adjudicate it or they are convicted, whatever it is, then they send them to the executive for execution because they have the power. So the lawmakers, they make the law, but they are not the one that interprets the law. They mess some of these laws on the book. They try to make amendments, which is okay, but they do not have the constitutional power to interpret the law. It is the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia. And if it is not done the right way, under the provision, under the Constitution, it means it was done wrongfully. So they're going to take it from the legal perspective. It's not true. Oh, it's supposed to be this way. No, that's not how it works. Yes, those who still want to argue or basic opinion, basic has the right, that's his opinion. But these are not overnight decisions. There's a group of people. They're all going to give their views, they're all going to give their opinions, and there will be no way that they will all in 100% be in consensus. But ultimately, at the end of the day, they take a decision. They'll probably vote. He has the right to come out, but it doesn't mean by he not agreeing with the decisions of the body, it means that decision will be nullified. That's not how it works. And we hope the government of Liberia will do the right thing. Because if you don't respect the Supreme Court, you are just simply telling ordinary citizens that they could take the laws into their own hand and do whatever they want to do, because at the end of the day, they will not do it. And it is absurd and ridiculous on the part of Richard Cohn. You see, these people, they never have good advisors. That's the problem. They don't have no good advisors. They feel that they are above the law. They feel they can do anything and get away with it. So they say anything they want to say. If I was some sort of mature politician, you won't even speak. You will let day goes, or maybe you just do one tweet, or you'll allow your spokesperson, that Speaker Cohn or self-proclaimed Speaker Cohn will speak to the press or address it. But for you to come out after the Supreme Court, you're the first branch of government to come out and say you reject the Supreme Court decision. So how do you talk that with ordinary Liberians who, when it violates the law, and law enforcement rather come in and say, no, we're not going to listen to you, we're not going to listen to no policemen. We'll do it on our own. That doesn't make sense. These people, they are just all about themselves. No any patriotic Liberians. If you didn't validate, you're not going to validate the decision of the court. Why? You went for hearings. You've been going there in for. Your people been going there. Why? They never show up today. 5 hours they were here. Because our reporter were there. They were at Capitol building there. Because they knew exactly. This court has been very forceful. They've been speaking. They saw the signs. They saw the symptoms. And they smell it way ahead of time. This is why the Colette and the rest of the people, they didn't go there. They took the law into their hands. Because of this craziness and stupidness, the Capitol building was burned. We don't even know who is responsible. And for the Supreme Court, after all of these deliberations, months, weeks, having a chaotic House of Representatives, for a decision to come from the final arbiter of the court of the land, the Supreme Court, and you say you reject who you are, who you think. It is the boy is in the court now of Joseph Boyka. Whether he's the rule order person, whether he's the guy who was talking about respecting the Constitution, that people should not do anything. First of all, he gave you the teeth. That's why he's talking. Because it was to allow the process to play out systematically, going through the court process to get us to this point, and not giving him all of these security and vehicles, removing cars from this. And that's why that's why he was accused. So he undercuts the investigation. He shouldn't have done that. And some of us said it here. It could have been a political resolution. We all know every president wants the speaker or the one both houses in order to get their agenda to push, whether it's bad or not, but to push it. And there's no doubt it's one of those. Seeing what happens in all of the support being lent to this so-called majority black who abandoned their official place of work and was staying at a hotel, conducting businesses, doing everything to elect speaker, and ran with him in Capitol, put his left hand up, and a president, at the same time, the administration, the government sending budget, a lying confirmation process, having meetings in the absence of bringing this to a resolution, also justified many people's argument that the GOL is a facility to get us to be where we are today. And that is sad. Now, what he did today is a complete defiant to the very government that supports him. They don't have consultation with their people. The court literally just came out today and he coming out to reject who you think you are. Let the president, let the administration call for the withdrawal of those police and returning the speaker car. That's not your personal car. And say you can't give it. This is crazy, and people need to stop. And then we think we want to have a good and better society. If it works for you, that's fine. If it doesn't, then no one can, only you and only you. And this is not about protecting your political leaders or because it's in your favor. So any group of people can come out tomorrow and come say, oh, we don't want the president, oh, we don't want to do this. There is a process involved. Why you think when even someone's allegedly murder people and that gun is caught with that person, why you think that they still give that person the chance to speak for his or herself or stand before the court? Because it is the court that will determine whether that person committed a crime. Why they can say, oh, we saw you with a gun, so you kill that person, we're going to kill you too. There is a process. You went to court, you were represented. Vani Sherman is a disgrace to humanity. The man who he former head of the judiciary. This is what they do. They work years in government, and when they are depleted, they do anything possible they can to survive. For he to sit also and try to twist the Constitution around, it's a disgrace. We are waiting to see the decisions of the president. Until then, have a pleasant evening. And by God's will, we'll be back here Fridays. Listen to the Liberal Progressive and his guy. They will be on Tabata tomorrow night. Trust me. Just come and listen to them. Bye-bye.